had not an appearance, but he had it's not as raw. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
I mean, it's not as raw. It's like having the Mean Man twins on the Grammys. How would that be?
Well, it's supposed to be a family show.
Well, but I mean, the language you might could. But still, I like the raw.
I like.
See, like if you go to country music, Hank Williams Jr. never conformed to the commercialized.
Right.
And he stayed good. Neither did Waylon Jennings. But then you take some of these other new artists, they get to where they're going with the flow and what they tell people they like, and all of a sudden they start playing out. I mean, who would have been an artist that would have stayed raw?
R.I.P. DMX. He stayed raw. He stayed raw. I don't know. But because from an artist standpoint, I think, as time goes by, you want to explore different things. You want to explore different audiences. And as an artist, so many times we come out a certain way. People want to put us in a box. Okay, he's a gangster rapper from Charlotte. He's got to be in street clothes and doing his thing. What about involvement? We don't want to stay the same all the time. We want to evolve.
Why not stay the same? I mean, what's evolve? I mean, why even evolve? Why not just stay with what you do?
Get better.
At what?
What you do?
Performing.
Yeah. Reaching different audiences. Because like that particular the baby performance in question. Mm-hmm. As a DaBaby fan from the back, from his early beginnings, I liked it, and then now he might reach a different audience that otherwise wouldn't be engaged because preconceived notions when they see a rapper in a hoodie or a jersey, they see a rapper in a suit, they might stick around for the performance. So now he has his base audience and a new audience.
So it's about the money. To reach new audiences, it'd have to be about the money.
That's why you do it for the money. If you just did it for the love, you would just drop music, put it on streaming platforms and never promote it. If it was just for the love, and if you got money from it, you got money from it, but you wouldn't have a strenuous tour schedule and all of this stuff if it wasn't for the money. So it's all
about the folding of the dollars, as the old timers used to say. It's about the folding.
It's part of it. It's part of it. I think with any profession, when you get to a certain height, it becomes a lot of business, and some of the raw love of the creativity gets taken out of it, and you become a little bit more business orientated.
Let's take Hank Williams Jr. Let's say if he had changed and tried to increase his audience by playing different music, it wouldn't have worked.
I mean, so what about when we see Hank Williams performing with Lil Wayne? Isn't that going to a different audience and doing something different?
If that would work.
But he did it. That's
what
I'm saying.
Sure enough.
He did it. Yeah. So that's an artist that's been in that lane for so long.
That's why people
in a certain time.
That's why people do duets. They get one artist singing with another artist, and it brings both their audiences in. They say, "Oh, I like that guy too. I guess that's the reason."
I think for longevity as an artist, you got to be able to switch things up and evolve with the times if you want to continue to be prosperous when it comes to making a living off of being an artist.
Because if you couldn't do that, you'd have to quit being an artist.
Yeah,
right?
it would get boring. We human attention span, even something that's super great, sometimes we don't appreciate it until it's gone. And something, I think that's why most artists that last over generations is because they had different grooves and were able to be timeless and evolve with the times.
such as Madonna, maybe.
Madonna,
Cher changed. Bee Gees.
Bee Gees.
Bee Gees maybe the most. I mean, they really evolved and went with the times. So I guess you're right.
I wish my girlfriend would say that more often.
So Dwight, tell us about the Grand Fondo.
Grand Fondo.
What did you do in preparation? You wrote, did you do the whole thing?
Yes, sir.
What number did you come in?
I came in 62 out of 488. 95-mile riders that were riding that 95 miles.
Did you start out at Finley Stadium?
No, sir.
Where'd they start out at?
We started out around the Bessie Smith Cultural Center on MLK downtown. It was a whole line. I was in corral number 9, and it was about 13 corrals.
Why do you do that?
The reason why I do that is because I love the excitement of cycling, the passion I have for it. I love it. It's the thrill of competition. Being out in the wind, being out in the air with everybody. Leaving nothing.
There's nothing. I've ridden those. When you get back, I've done the 3-state, 3-mountain ride,
Right.
and that was I did it like 4 years in a row.
Correct.
Did you do Burkholder and the whole 9 yards?
I did. I also did the one 2017. I did the one 2018. Then of course they stopped.
I did it the 4 years before they stopped.
Right. Okay. I mean I did it all straight years in a row, but I did it those number of times, and then of course it stopped because of COVID. Well, actually it stopped.
It stopped before. Why was that it stopped?
It actually stopped before the COVID situation last year.
Is the year before they
It was
stopped?
the year before last.
What was the reason?
One of the counties didn't want to deal with.
That's what it was.
deal with
Yeah,
the riders.
because it's 3-state, 3-mountain.
Right. They,
Did you make it up Burkholder every time?
Oh yes, I did. Boy, it was rough.
Golly.
Yes.
Did they run the cowbell?
Run the cowbell, all that, and then, but thank God
Nobody's watching.
Well, no, thank God I wasn't out there when people were throwing tacks and stuff on the street and things like that, because in certain areas of the county they didn't want the riders coming through.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm really.
Let me tell you about what happened.
Which one it was, but.
Let me tell you what happened to me. I rode, got all the way to Burkholder, got to the sag there. I had that sag there.
Right.
And I started, this girl took off. Well, I just took off behind her. And somebody in the back hollered for her. And she turned around and went back. I kept going. Well, I was going the wrong way. I went 9 miles out of the way because it was an old, they had the arrows, and I was following the arrows from a previous race.
Right.
And that's why they were hollering for her to come back.
Right.
And I went, so anyway. But boy, that is, until you've done that, you just have no idea how hard that is.
Right. Right. The cycling races are hard anyway. Thank God that you have races like the one yesterday that was very, very, very organized. I will say it was very organized. The handicap race was very, very well organized. I was even a little nervous myself, but I'm just being honest. But very well organized, many arrows, cycling, marshal for all the races. All the lower level race, the second level race, and then the third level race, which was the highest, 95 miles. These marshals are riding before us. I mean, these guys are good. I mean, like, hold on.
Well, the Hencappy guy, would there be people there that's riding that can ride better than him?
Oh,
now
yeah.
that they're younger.
Oh yeah.
And he's older.
Oh yeah. George Hincapie has been doing it for many years. Of course, he's the founder, president, CEO, founder of the organization, Hincapie Races. Being a person that is very experienced at riding, his entourage and his guys came in. They didn't come in last yesterday, but they came in probably maybe 30 or 40 riders before the final riders came in. But they were running videos too. And
Almost
stuff.
escorting or something.
Yeah. I mean, they had videos.
Did you ride with somebody or by yourself?
Oh, I rode by myself.
Did you try to draft, or does that? I always feel funny about drafting behind people that I don't know.
Riding the Peloton and all that. No, not really. I didn't have a team to ride with, but it is good. At the beginning when you're riding, of course, everybody's gonna ride together, and everybody is really expected to really understand the rules of the road and be smart about it, and don't do anything crazy. Don't make no sharp left or right turns and stoppages and stuff like that. Because if you do, you got someone right behind you that's gonna collide with you. Bam, it's gonna be over for that particular 1 or 2 or 3 individuals, whatever. But luckily, I'm glad that didn't happen yesterday either. But no, I didn't ride with.
Did y'all go up? But was Burkholder in that Burkholder mountain? Was that in the?
No. I was.
Do you have any steep declines?
Oh yes, most definitely.
How fast would you say you got yesterday?
That steep decline, I would say maybe 20 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour or something. But I'm saying the second run was scary. When we began to go through Red Bank Tunnel and come down descend and come into the area of Red Bank, enter Red Bank's entrance, where it says welcome to Red Bank, and then we turn left and go headed towards down Signal Mountain Road, and then head towards Baylor. Where we turn left, we go on Pineville. Oh my goodness, that is the and look, it's early in the morning time.
Yeah.
Look, I had no breakfast.
No, a little chilly.
I had no breakfast, and it was chilly yesterday morning too. I'm looking like, hey.
You ever get in those lines and you're looking over at somebody that looks like that you could beat up, and they're smoking you on the side? You ever experience that?
Yeah.
You think, how does this person do that?
Oh yeah.
What are they doing?
Most definitely. I mean, them guys, some of them have been doing it for years. Some of them have been more well prepared. I'm very prepared myself, but yes, I do look over to the right, to the left, and say, man, these how they do it, But it's all about just going with what you know and just not being scared.
Have you noticed that some people that are even heavy, that has nothing to do with cycling? They can be heavy, they can be skinny, they can be strong, they can not be strong, and you can't tell how good of a rider they're going to be by looking at them.
You're right.
That means nothing.
You're so right about that.
I mean, typically you can kind of say, hey, he'd be a good rider, but you never know.
Right. So, I think you just got to, a lot of it has to do with your core. Of course, a lot of it has to do with your core. Your core, your legs, your calves, all that, your wind.
My problem
cardio.
My problem is the wind. I get to where I run out of breath. Mm-hmm. They say when I ride, I don't breathe. Mm-hmm. But I guess I'm just focusing on. But I'm more just a hobbyist rider. Mm-hmm. We did 33 miles yesterday at 17 miles an hour, and that's pretty good for East Tennessee. Mm-hmm. That's not bad, is it?
No, it's not bad. That's not bad at all. I mean, for the most part, your cycling period is always good.
But I ride like a Trek Amonda. 14 pounds.
Very familiar with that.
Yeah, but you have disc brakes?
On the cycling bike yesterday?
Yeah.
No, I don't. But I do have bikes with disc brakes on, and those disc brake bikes are much better when you're going downhill like I was yesterday, because I was looking at a steep hill going down.
Do you feather it with disc brakes like you would?
Yes. No. Actually, no. Not really with mounted brakes. You just hold it down and just keep your hands on the trigger held down, and that's it. Just
You
don't
go
let-
down in the drops or you stay on the hoods?
I stay on the hoods of it. You know,
I feel safer on the hoods, don't you?
oh yeah, oh yeah, yes. You know, when you feather it a little bit, it's kind of a little bit more dangerous, if you ask me.
But when I feather it, that's telling my brain I've got brakes.
Right.
You know, I'm thinking, oh, I've got them. Rather than just saying, okay, if I need them, I'll.
Right. But the problem is when you feather it, then you are taken away from the actual stoppage, and you being very, very cautionary with not losing yourself when you're braking. You know, it's kind of like, of course, you know, I'm a chef, and I've been chefing for years, so it's kind of like when you are frying something, but you got it in the fryer, but then when you pull it up to check it, well, guess what? You actually slowing down the process. You know, yes, you can shake the basket all you want, and that's good, but you still slow down the cooking. Same thing even with sauteing. When you sauteing something on the stove, as I know my profession, and you bring the saute pan off the heat, and you go over and take the saute pan with you, and then grab some ingredients and throw in there, that's taking away. Same thing with cycling. When you are feathering, I feel that you are taking away from your actual stopping power, and also your ability to be able to know that, or at least keep yourself in a good standing with not having brakes, so to speak. You know, worst thing you want to do is run out of brakes when you're going down the hill,
Yeah.
like I was yesterday, and that wasn't very scary actually.
Did you run out of brakes?
No, I didn't. Thank God I didn't.
Did you ever get?
Because I was here with you today.
Did your hands ever get sore right here?
They were actually yesterday.
Because you're.
Yes, because my palm, because my hands was like that, and I was like, you guys to be joking me. I'm talking about, this was a very, very steep decline. I had to question my own mind for a quick second there, because seriously, that was a very steep decline. You know.
The first year I did it, I got off the bike. It was so steep. And I couldn't get back on the bike because you couldn't get clipped in fast enough to be going down the hill so fast you couldn't control it. So I walked a ways and it wore out the bottom of my cleats. But
Right.
if anybody came by, I'd just act like I had a flat tire.
Right. Most definitely.
But cycling's just a hobby, right, for you?
No, cycling's a passion, and I hope to be. No, not that I hope to be, but next year I'm gonna be at a way, way strong, bigger level. I had a great opportunity today to talk with some people, team operators. Gave me great opportunity today as I discussed my thoughts and plans, my desires. I had a great opportunity. I had a good opportunity to meet many people that I did yesterday, as well as George Hincapie, which I've met him before, but I got a chance to talk to him yesterday, actually, pictures with him and everything. And that don't always happen.
Yeah.
With celebrity cyclists. And, he's a good friend with Lance Armstrong, right by his side. That was his main man. Helped him in all those many years. But so I had a great opportunity to meet many different people yesterday. Had a great chance today to talk to so many people as well. My desire is to go at a much, much higher level. USA Cycling and UCI Continental. I know you know exactly what those are. Races sponsored by professionals and big league cycling events.
What would you have averaged yesterday? Time? Did you stop at the SAG?
No, I didn't actually.
You just kept rolling?
I kept rolling. I mean, I did stop for a moment, but it wasn't really, really long at all.
Twice?
One time. I just want to keep on going.
So 95 miles you stopped one time?
So one time.
To pee, I guess, right?
Yeah, and really, I mean, you can do 10, 15, 20 miles in no time.
Yeah,
that's nothing. So I'm like trying to get on my way. I'm trying to get back as quick as I can. because I know I'm gonna be in some kind of placement somewhere, time wise.
Well, the thing about it is, if somebody's 50 yards ahead of you, you can't hardly catch them.
You can't catch them. Can't catch them. I mean,
They've got to stop too, right?
When everybody exactly, when everybody, when everybody.
So if I stop, I'm thinking, man, I'll be in 10. I'll be at 10 ahead if I don't stop.
Right. 10 head or more.
But you don't think it pays you to stop, take 3-minute break, get back on the bike? Do you think you'd pass those other people that didn't stop?
No.
I don't think so either.
No. No.
You just can't stop.
Right. I just can't stop.
Do you eat anything while you're riding?
Oh yeah.
What do you pack?
I had everything packed behind me. I had the whole grocery store packed behind the store. No, I didn't. I didn't have the whole store packed behind me. I had a lot of power bars. I had about 3 power bars behind me.
Goo? You have any goo?
I did have goo actually.
That makes me nervous though. Do you?
The goo is good. That goo is good. The goo chews are good. I had 3 power bars behind me. I had about 3 oatmeal. Little Debbie oatmeal.
Well, they're good, aren't they?
Thank God for Little Debbie.
Yeah. You ever drink a Coke?
You know what? I drank a Coke yesterday after the race. After we all got back, and spent so much time congratulating everybody and having a good time and enjoying everything, the festivities and stuff. They're kind of like a family time.
Yeah.
I got a Coke at the very, very end.
Well, it's good, isn't it?
Great. It was super. After the beers, after the pizza, after the Papa John pizza and all that, had a great time.
I mix my water half Coke and half water.
Oh.
That helps.
Oh, it's good.
Just half and half.
Half and half. It's good.
But is your passion more in cycling? Obviously, it's more as a chef, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Where did that come from?
I'm glad you asked that question. That passion came many years ago, being around my grandmama years ago when I was a kid.
10, 12?
A little bit younger than that. I was young.
So, I know you enjoy cycling, but your main passion is a chef, obviously. That's what brings the money in.
That's right.
Where did that come from? I mean, everybody likes to cook.
Oh yeah, everybody likes to cook. My passion for cooking came from being around my grandma at an early age when I was young. My grandma loved me like a son, and all my family, of course. And my granddad was a great person, and my mom. I watched my grandmother in the kitchen cooking all various types of food. No bought anything, no pre-made. No, this is a scratch cook. Grandmama's a scratch cook. So she would cook fried chicken. She would make great pasta dishes, make great seafood dishes. Everything she made, she would make great baked dishes. Make great pies and cakes. Apple turnovers where you would have to take and fill the turnover, and fold the dough over, mash it down with a fork, fry it. That's grandmama. So my grandmama gave me that passion.
What do you remember about your grandmother cooking?
I remember, I can take you to the time when my grandmama taught me about the first food that she taught me how to cook.
But I'm talking about the time when you remember the real thing when you saw your grandmother cooking, not necessarily teaching you, but I mean, like my grandmother. I to this day I eat pimento cheese sandwiches, hot pimento cheese sandwich and Pringles, because my grandmother fixed it for me while I was watching Gunsmoke.
That's good.
I mean, and so that's when I relate pimento cheese sandwiches to my grandmother.
Right.
So what was your relation? What do you relate to? Because there's got to be a connection besides just she taught me to cook.
Right. I can relate when I cook fried chicken to my grandmama when she cooked it, because she would do it the way that people normally don't cook fried chicken, but the way she done it, old school, cooking in a cast iron skillet, in grease, nice and seasoned.
Salt, a lot of salt.
No, not a lot of salt, but nice and seasoned. Nice and seasoned. You got to have a balance there. She was always about that balance. Floured up, make sure that was always floured, and coated, and fried correctly. Dropped in the cast iron skillet, not grease flying all over the frying, all over the floor and all that. She had a piece of paper that was put down on the floor because she didn't want her floor full of grease. And she also fried chicken with a glass top on it. Now keep this in mind. This is cast iron skillet. This is grease at a certain level in that frying pan with the chicken frying in it, and turning it over, which typically you don't have to have no glass lid on it, but she would do that because, the grease all over her stove and all on her floor, that helped to prevent that piece of paper, and also that glass skillet. I'm sorry, that glass lid.
Now, was she doing that because she was cooking, or was all of this necessity?
She was doing it because she was cooking. All of it wasn't necessarily a necessity, but because my grandmama had her ways, and she was a super, super great cook, chef, and a person, that was just her. And I learned a lot from her, and I thank God for her.
She have other ways besides just cooking. She have her ways about everything.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Oh, yeah, she was the boss. That was her kitchen. When she cooked food, nobody was coming up in her kitchen and bothering stuff. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you the real deal. I know you like this. When she was baking cakes, could no one enter into her kitchen. You know why? Because in that stove and that, the cakes, that were poured into the molds that were inside, in place inside the stove, to bake. Well, the problem is that sometimes if it's too much jarring in the house, too much jarring on the floor. Of course, we live with grandma, old school house,
Everybody's running.
Old floors and stuff. If you got too much jarring coming through the kitchen, that may cause her cake to drop. And if her cake dropped, somebody was gonna get it. She didn't like that. Lemon pound cake, German chocolate cake.
You're making me hungry.
It's that good stuff.
What did she cook as a rule?
What did she cook as a rule?
And what do you remember?
As a rule, meatloaf had to be a certain way every time. Had to have the right sauce in it. Had to have the right balance. It wasn't no tomato. Look, excuse me, it wasn't no ketchup. First of all, you don't put ketchup on no meatloaf in it. Okay, it's got too much high fructose corn syrup in it. Too much sugar. It just don't taste right. Okay, not really tomato sauce. It's got to be blended up right and made right to be good. And grandmoms know. Many professionals know. Many chefs know, like myself, that what they learn from grandmama is good in the right way.
How did they learn this?
Grandmama.
Think about it. How did they learn this?
They learned through a lot of trial and error. They learned through a lot of heartaches and trial and error, heartaches and pain.
Would that have been the entertainment? I mean, I guess that eating would have been the entertainment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
What else was there?
A little bit of radio and some eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's all about getting together and celebration. Food was a way to bring people together. That's what I knew that food was always about. it's you know, food brings them together. You know, what we try to do in the South, you know, Southern food, soul food. You know, it's not all the same.
So it's about the food, but it's not about the food. Does that make sense to you?
It's,
I mean, it's about the food, but it's not about the food.
well, getting together, food brings us together. It's about the food.
Food brings them together,
Brings us together.
but then it becomes not about the food. It's
becomes
about the.
Right. Right. It becomes not about the food. You know, most importantly, it's about connectivity, togetherness. Connectivity and togetherness could be with or without food. But because when you have family there together and you have food, you find your way to connect.
It's an excuse. Right? And somebody said, hey, y'all come over and let's talk. Nobody would come.
Right.
But if you say, hey, let's come over and eat.
Yeah, I understand. I understand your point. You know, you should want to be together with family, period.
Now, as far as, you know, comfort food, soul food, and Southern food, is there a difference?
Yes, it is. Soul food is about family, about heritage.
Would mine be different than yours, or yours be different than somebody else's?
Yes, in a way, yes. But primarily, soul food is about a heritage family. That's soul food. You know, goes way back. Goes back. Southern food is about what's typical of the South.
Such
Such as greens and
pinto beans,
sweet
cornbread,
potatoes, cornbread, things like that. But now, soul food, you take cornbread and you make it water cornbread. That's a difference.
Now let's back up.
No, water cornbread and cornbread is totally different.
Now, cornbread is Southern.
Right, but water cornbread.
Hot water cornbread.
Is heritage. That's what.
What is water cornbread?
Water.
Made with water instead of milk?
Yes, water cornbread is made with water instead of milk, sugar, cornmeal.
All from scratch.
All from scratch. You know.
Why no milk?
It's because
Didn't have any milk?
Exactly. Back in the day, you might not have no milk, so you had to make do. In my opinion, soul food comes from what was made out of necessity and what ingredients were readily available. And I mean, so like in the days of captivity, you was only allotted a certain things, and you can only get your hands on what you could probably grab out the field. So we had to make do with greens and chitlins and chicken gizzards. And then now, which with those things would be considered a Southern delicacy, that's soul food. You know, like he was saying, Grandma making the fried chicken in the cast iron skillet, because you know that's what we had readily available. That's what makes it soul food.
Right, that's powerful.
So it's not this. Well, it is the ingredients.
It is the ingredients. It's the ingredients, and like you said, it's the heritage.
If I eat water cornbread versus milk cornbread, would I taste the difference?
Most def.
What would it be like?
Water cornbread is texture.
You mix it all the same. You just don't use milk. Use water.
Right. You know, it's
and you gotta get it to a certain temperature,
yeah.
and you have to bake it for a certain time. Too short or too long ain't gonna get it. It's that. And without any timers and without any of that, grandma and great grandma and all, they knew, you know, it's a beautiful thing. And then, so that would be soul food. And Southern food is just the Southern stuff, the Southern staples. And then comfort food is whatever you eat when, you know, for nostalgia or certain times. Like ball game, you gotta have the beef chili dog with the relish. You know, or Super Bowl, you want your chicken wings with your dip, chips and dip.
Yeah.
So I think that's comfort food. You know, what you think about.
But I think of comfort food as what you grew up on early.
When I think of comfort food, I think about what I want at this time, what's gonna make me happy, comfortable at this time. So like
If you was watching the Super Bowl, you'd have Zaxby's hot wings and those celery sticks.
exactly. And if I'm bowling, I want some nachos to make me happy.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion.
But it might be different from you.
Yeah.
Now this Anthony Bourdain, he had a good idea, didn't he?
Chef Anthony Bourdain.
Bourdain, yeah. He thought that food if you went into somebody's place and you ate their food, then that showed them that you were receptive to their opinion. And when you ate with them, you could mesh the opinions to where they were the same, and you could come to a common ground. That's basically his show, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Anthony Bourdain.
And that goes back to your point that it's not about the food; that's the excuse. That makes sense, or am I crazy?
I think both things can be the right at the same time. It's about the meeting, but it's about the food too. Cause like if you pull up to the barbecue, it depends on who's the grill if you're staying or not. You know, you might just
That's right.
You might just pop in and say hey to everybody, give everybody a hug and leave.
Exactly.
But
The barbecue's got to be good.
if the right uncle is on the grill, then you're gonna stay a while, kick back, and wait on a plate. So it's about the excuse to get together, but it's about the food at the same time.
Right. Gotta be. Especially who's cooking the fried chicken.
That makes
Who
all
made the potato salad?
that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does.
Right. I mean, I don't expect to get the same quality fried. Like keep in mind what I'm saying. I cannot expect to get the same quality fried chicken from everyone because I expect it to be quality. I'm not saying that it's gonna be perfect from everyone, but it's gotta be quality for me to eat it. Cause I know if it's too dark and it tastes a certain way it's been there, I'm not gonna want it. So that quality, if the quality's not there, it's not gonna be edible for me. I'm not even gonna enjoy it.
Can you go to a fast food restaurant and eat, or does that just drive you crazy?
Oh, I can. You know, some fast food restaurants are not really even considered fast food anymore. KFC, you know, the name is they call it casual dining.
Yeah, casual dining.
Casual dining now. Some people say, oh, it's fast food, but it's not. It's casual dining. You got to actually get back there and work with it, and work that food. You got to work with that chicken. I know, been there, done it. So it's what you have to do to produce great chicken products, or let me say, with any food, it takes work to be able to deliver a great product. And if the quality is not there, based off of who's cooking it, it's not going to be receptive, or, you know, by anyone. You know, some people, but really, it's not going to be receptive by anyone because they, you know, they should be able to tell.
How did you go from your enjoying your grandmother's cooking to a world-known chef, which is actually what you are?
Right. I got a chance to be around the right people at the right time. I got a chance to get some different breaks. I got a chance to be blessed and connected with many different people. You know, I went to culinary school years ago, Art School Atlanta, and spent a couple years there. Went on to Ruth Chris Steakhouse, cooked there. Tom Tom's in the mall in Atlanta, cooked there. Both places at the same time. Not at the same time, but you know, both places employed. And so both places were very, very humbling and busy back in the 90s. You know, Tom Tom's, I think you remember Tom Tom's in Atlanta Mall, Buckhead, and also Ruth Chris there by the JW Marriott. Very, very busy places. And I began to connect with the right people, you know. Came back to Chattanooga, cooked with a lot of different chefs, got around some different people, 2 different hotels in the city. And then I began to connect with, not just in Chattanooga, but in Atlanta, Florida, with a lot of different celebrities.
Now, how did that? You skipped it. You skipped a spot there. You've gone from cooking in Chattanooga to celebrities in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Celebrities everywhere.
celebrities everywhere.
How did that happen?
Got a chance to.
Now, nothing's by chance. You had to have done something.
I would say
Chance, fate.
chance,
What
yes.
would-
You know.
Well, maybe skill. Maybe you're good at what you do.
Well,
Skill definitely has
yeah.
Well, skill.
something to do with it. Most definitely.
Yeah, most definitely. Skill will bring the eyes and to, hey, this chef does what he does. Hey, let's try him.
Someone
Okay.
wise once said,
Opportunity.
luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Good luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So that he's got the skills, he got a break, he delivered, which spread the word that, hey, my man delivers.
Luck favors the prepared.
Right.
Yes. Boom. I like
Yeah,
that one
that's
too.
it.
I like that one. Yeah. Luck favors the prepared, you know.
Right.
In other words, it's not luck.
It's not luck, it's just taking
It's just being ready to receive the luck.
whenever the opportunity
Right.
comes knocking.
Right.
Boom.
So
you're
how
ready.
did that happen?
It happened by me coming in contact with some entertainers in the hotel, entertainers coming to different venues, a person connecting with me and telling me, hey, I got this person coming, I want you to do something for them, you know. Man, C-Grimey right here, you know. Hey, the entertainer rapper.
Yeah, how did he come into this picture?
So, we met-
Yeah.
Young Dolph.
We met around 2010, 2009.
Earlier than that.
We
You're both from Chattanooga, right?
uh-huh. And so we just happened to run into each other, and I'm always networking, and he was like, I'm a chef, I'm classically trained. I've worked here, and here. I've worked with this, and this celebrity, and
Now, what was you doing at the time?
I was making my own art in entertainment. I'm a hip hop artist, and I was putting together shows in conjunction with different venues.
Now, do you sing or do you promote?
Yeah, I would say wouldn't say I sing. I rap. I perform.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna disrespect the singers who can really blow out here. I rap and perform. I songwrite and produce, so I become a event organizer because it was, as an up and coming artist, it was hard to get on as an opener or to get gigs. So I said, hey, why don't we rent out the venues and promote the shows ourselves, get people to come, and that's how we'll pay ourselves. We did that, started getting notoriety for not only being good artists but having great events. And I met up with Chef, just happenstance, and he was like, I do this, and this. And so when I had some headlining entertainers come, I was like, yo, you need to be the chef, cook for them, that makes everybody look good, everybody get paid.
In cycling, we'd say you're drafting.
We're drafting.
Right?
Yeah. Right. Most
And so we had a opportunity to cook for people like Young Dolph, Memphis artist, Grammy nominated Memphis rapper. Who else? Schoolie of
So you promote and he feeds.
sometimes, yeah, sometimes.
No.
Caters.
Caters.
That's how we put caters.
Yes. Who's one of the most famous people you've been working with?
One of the most famous people I've worked with. I'd say I was blessed in the early 2000s to do a show alongside Killer Mike. I got to open up. He probably wouldn't even remember, but I got to open up for him in Chattanooga. And this was right off him coming off of winning a Grammy with Outkast for the whole world. And not only is he a great rap artist, but he's a community organizer and speaking out for social justice and equality when it comes to wealth building and education. So I really looked up to him. You know, he's a Grammy nominated dude with the Outkast song, and I got to open up for him back at 232 downtown Chattanooga back in the day in the mid 2000s. And so that was probably my most famous artist I got to work with like directly. And shout out Bankroll Fresh out of Atlanta. He was one of the biggest rappers before he was assassinated in Atlanta, and we got to work with him on several different projects, and that was an honor. Quanti Cash out of Atlanta, working with GME Studios in Atlanta was great. I've been on different cards with a lot of headlining acts, but I really wouldn't call that working directly with them. You know, if I get to be the opener to a headliner, I think that's just more drafting.
Mm-hmm.
But doing music and doing art and being able to stream an income from what I love has been super duper awesome.
You say art. What do you mean?
Art, making music. Music is art. Yeah. And performing is art. Rocking the stage and retaining people's attention and having them bop with you is art. You know.
But nowadays they don't buy the records like used to. We'd go buy the records.
I mean, streaming. If you streaming enough, it's still buying the record. It's just these days with streaming, you kind of like used to. We had to go in the record store, buy the record, and that's it. If it was whack, it's still yours. If it's great, you bought an amazing album. But now you know you essentially pay a streaming platform to have access to all your favorite stuff and then try out the new stuff. And if it's whack, so be it. I tried it out. It was whack. If it's amazing, I have access to listen to it for forever, as long as I pay my subscription, you know what I'm saying? So essentially, we still kind of buy the records.
What do you think the future is to buying records?
I think...
Is it going to be... What's going to happen?
It's going to be forever evolving. Streaming is going to be in 40, 50 years. Streaming is going to be something else, but people are always going to want new tunes.
Are there 1,000 people out there that could entertain a group of people, but they just don't have the promotions?
I would say it's 1 million people.
I mean, there's 1,000 people that sing in the shower every morning that say, man, if you could get that out to people, but nobody's going to get it out to them.
I would say it's more so than that. I mean, even more realistically, I'd say it's dozens of thousands of musicians, artists, singers who are who can't get out of the back alley bar or the karaoke night that are amazing.
Or out of the shower.
Or that are amazing, but that really are actively like making art and pursuing, you know, putting on the forefront that if they had the machine of a record company or a promoter, they would be out of here.
You ever watched the Beverly Hillbillies?
Oh, most definitely.
Remember when Jethro Bodine's cousin got off the train and they were trying to promote him as an artist?
Yeah.
And they sewed the hats and he really couldn't even sing, but
Right.
It's almost like you need that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
So to speak.
In that field.
Well, a lot of times an artist can necessarily not make amazing art, but sell their self, their personality, or their charisma, or their story. You know
Enthusiasm.
what I mean? Yeah.
But if you get somebody to come on stage and they can sing Amazing Grace better than anybody else, you're not going to sell 2 albums. You have to have the person that does something different to an audience.
Right.
And I don't know exactly what that is.
You might sell a couple albums, but what people want is something that's speaking to them, speaking to the times. Like you take all
Trending.
What's the
Trending,
joint,
yeah.
What's the joint American Idol? Like a lot of them could blow, but the ones that were successful, Kelly Clarkson, Fantasia, some others, they took their talent and then got it packaged up, got some songwriters behind them, and then pushed them to the next level.
Right.
It takes
I think it takes uniqueness.
When it comes to entertainment, people don't just want the talent.
Status quo, yeah.
They want the person as well. They want the story. They want to be engaged with the other stuff.
But you take, like for instance, back in 1929, I know I brought up Hank Williams Jr., but just because it's on my mind.
Uh-huh.
You know, Hank Williams Sr. came out during the Depression. Mm-hmm. My understanding is that he sold more records per comparison than Michael Jackson did. I don't know if that's true, but I do know
So
that.
like, kinda
and
like-
he couldn't sing. He couldn't carry a tune. What made him attractive to people?
It was like what he was talking about. You know, that was very important. He was talking to the people, and how he was doing it. You know, he was like the everyday dude. I could be Hank Williams Jr. You know, and I think that's the same thing today. Was appealing with like the pop stars or the rappers. You know, that could be the guy from around the corner. He resonated with the people, and I think what you say is important too.
Right.
You know, you go back. You know, you talk about the Yin Yang Twins. I know you're
Yeah.
you're connected
Shout out
with
to
them
it,
somewhat. Yeah.
Right.
You remember that song they had that said, they're not listening to the preachers or the teachers, but it's the rappers.
Mm-hmm.
What's that song?
I can't remember the name of the song. It's on their first
There's a
album.
fine little woman. What's the name of this? You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about though.
I can't think of the name. That'll drive me crazy.
I can't think of
Y'all gotta get a fact checker to be googling that shit up.
Google.
But they're not listening. They're not listening to the teachers or the preachers. They're listening to the rappers.
Most definitely.
Where was I going with that?
I don't know.
I can't remember. I was off. But what I think what I was saying was, why did Hank Williams Sr. make such a big splash and he couldn't even sing?
He was like a rapper back in the day.
That's all he was.
Yeah, he was.
He was speaking to the times.
He was speaking to the times.
And he resonated with people.
And famous that
When you
People
got-
recognized his character.
It was a novelty, man.
It's a novelty.
Yes.
Exactly.
Just like many artists.
And they have to, now. Do those people have to have promotions, or do they just rise, or do they just hang on with the white knuckles till they get there?
A lot of people have been able just to rise and cause a buzz. If you can get your city and your state engaged, and have it spread out, you know, back in the day it was much harder. Word of mouth was the thing, but now with internet and social media, you know, you have somebody that's causing a buzz in a secluded area. You can get out there, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of that, you know. So now it's readily available. They're like, this is amazing, and you get enough 100 people saying it's amazing. If you can get 1,000 people to spread it to 10 people, you know, and them to spread it to 2 people, you know, it's boom.
It's
Next
out
thing you
there.
know, you're viral, and then next thing you know, you got somebody that's gonna try to help you help them, or vice versa, or whatever, you know.
You know, your views are 10,000, 50,000, 150,000.
Social media currency.
Speaking of that, you've got, my understanding is you've got like 40,000 followers.
Thousands of views. Yes.
How do you accomplish that?
I
I mean, I've been doing this for 6 months, and I've got 1,000 followers, and one of them's me.
you know, one that I know
I mean,
is
how did you get? You haven't quite convinced me how you got to where you're at. What happened?
I got to where I'm at.
Are you just good at what you do?
I'm good at what I do, humbly speaking, and I'm always going to say that because that's important, humbly speaking. I'm good at what I do by skill, by having knowledge about food, by having creativity, knowing what people like, you know, being able to be trendy, being able to be different, and being able to pretty much deliver what people want. And what they don't want, you know, listen to that and, you know, adapt to changes, you know. Of course, you can't give anyone anything that's, that they have allergies and things like that, you know, that's a no-no. But you want to be able to be a chef for everybody, you know. You want to be, you know, I'm a chef for everybody, you know. And, you know, so through hard work, through effort, through trial and error. Trial and error is important. You know, you make mistakes, you know, you mess up, you know, you learn. You know, you begin to evolve and, you know, you begin evolving around and you begin to change, you begin to open up to everything. And I got a chance to be really experienced what I'm doing by many years of doing it, trial and error, and become successful by the right breaks and the right opportunities. Even if you are not successful this month, does not mean that you're not successful at all. It just means you might have had a bad month. You know, you might have had a bad day today. Don't mean the next 6 days of the week are going to be bad. You know, success is within. Success is from how you look at it. You know, not from someone else's perspective. Even though someone may judge you and say, hey, you are this and you are that, it's how you feel about yourself. And you believe in the success within yourself, you know. Gives me the ability to be able to do what I do. You know, I can connect with young Dolph. I appreciate and thank God for the opportunity to be able to chef and cook for him. You know, Vanilla Ice, have cooked for him many different times. I had an opportunity to cook with Gene Simmons on more than 2 occasions.
What'd he eat?
Man, Gene Simmons is a steak eater. He's a steak guy. Steak and potatoes, yes. At that Marriott. Gene Simmons is a good guy. Got a chance to cook for many different people. Mario Lopez, local artists here, doctors, lawyers. You know.
Lady Gaga?
Not Lady Gaga yet. Well, I wish I did. You know what I'm saying?
She's probably, is she vegan?
Would you cook for her?
I would definitely cook for Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga is one of my
just to have the
best.
Conversation, just to be like, what up? Let's rap. Let's talk about some shit.
Lady Gaga.
Do they call you? How does this happen?
It happens through connections and one person knowing another person.
So you cook for them one time or a cater for them, or how does that work?
Several different times.
Because when I contacted you, you were actually in Hollywood.
Yeah,
California.
Right, I was in California.
I was in Cleveland, Tennessee.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in. You know, I try to spend a lot of time in LA. LA is. I'm not gonna say I call it home. I'm gonna say I call it connection. Sometimes you can be around certain areas and certain people, and things. You know, they touch you. You know, and I'm gonna say this: Hollywood is an area where anybody can go and hope that they become a star. Not that you go to Hollywood because you want to be a star. Some people do. As a matter of fact, a lot of people do. I'm not one to really go to Hollywood or LA just to want to be a star. But if it connects with you, whether you're in LA, in the area of people and just opportunities connect with you, or you in New York, if that's you, so be it. You know, neither one of those places might not be you, LA or New York. It might be Nashville. Maybe someplace. But whatever it may be, it's got to be able to connect with you somehow.
So I know how it worked with some of my artists. They like have in their rider what they want for. What they want, they like request.
Are you from
that?
Chattanooga?
I'm from Chattanooga.
What part of Chattanooga?
East Chattanooga.
Where's that, East Chattanooga?
East Chattanooga, Glass Street area, Avondale area.
Close to Fort Oglethorpe?
Close to Fort Oak, close to Highway 58. Close to
58?
Highway 58.
The airport?
Nah, other side of town.
Oh.
Like down by the riverside. Where you take your burdens.
191 191 Chestnut.
taking your bird.
Yeah. No, not that close to the river.
Ross Landing.
Ross Landing.
The other side of Riverside. Amnicola side. Amnicola
Oh. Local highway.
I built Dr. Banks's office on Shallowford Road.
Okay.
Yeah, like last
Yeah.
year or so ago.
Yeah.
And I just hate working in Chattanooga. It's so complicated.
Yeah.
Rules, regulations.
Yeah.
Wait on this. You
Small-
have to have
small
you have to have a liaison to get a building permit. I can't go apply. I had to get this guy to be a liaison to get me the permit.
Well,
That's the way they
how
think.
about the Mayor
Small
Kelly?
thinking.
New mayor?
Is it new mayor?
Yeah.
New mayor, Tim Kelly.
Tim Kelly. Yeah.
Mr. Tim Keller.
I don't know him.
I had him on my podcast. He's alright. He's alright, dude.
Was he who was the other guy? He was real tall, right?
Burke.
Burke.
He's
Yeah.
Andy Burke.
So he lost?
No,
No,
he
no,
was
he
he was a lame duck.
What does that mean?
That means it was his last term.
Okay. So he can't run it ahead of a term.
I actually knew him.
He turned
I
out.
actually knew him personally.
Was he a good guy?
I mean, I think he was a good guy. You know, people had their differences of opinion. My opinion may be different from someone else on my level, right? I actually knew him when he was a thin guy going to college, and he wasn't even thinking about being no mayor at the time. And I worked for a landscape company. I actually worked for a landscape company many years ago, and we did grass and landscaping and stuff, and I did grass for his mom and maintenance for his mom and stuff, the landscape company I worked for. And at the very end of the cul-de-sac down, he lived in the house down at the end of the cul-de-sac, and
He was just a regular guy?
yeah, regular guy. And, like I said, I
I wouldn't say that. He's just a regular guy. His
Well,
parents was like lawyers who owned lots and lots of
Yeah, that's
property.
different. That's different.
Well, right, I mean, he's not a regular guy, but it just, he was going to college, going to school, educating himself, and like I said, I met him then. I would go to his mom's house, do the grass, do the lawn maintenance, doing the pesticide spraying and stuff, and that's what I'm about to say is the pesticide spraying. Anyway, I did that for his family's the house, and I would go down. We would all get done, and then go down to his go down to his house at the very end of the cul-de-sac, and I got a chance to meet him, and he was a cool guy. But I think now, when I look now at the whole years past versus then, I would have never thought that he would have became mayor, but he did.
He did an alright job. He did an alright
city
job. But it's interesting you say that because that was one of the things that Kelly talked about in his campaign is about code enforcement and all that stuff. And
What was he saying about it?
make it, you see, making it simpler.
So I wasn't. In other words, the problem I was having wasn't an unusual problem. That was a real problem. It wasn't just me.
No, it's a real problem. Code enforcement, dealing the time it takes to get a permit to build or remodel or whatever, and then
I always felt like when I was getting a permit there, I was asking for a real favor.
yeah,
And they were going to do me a favor.
I'm not trying to down my city. I love my city, but it's it is like that. It's like what the fuck? Can I curse?
Sure, it's on the internet.
It's like the fucking mafia sometimes.
Yeah,
It's like you got to come and kiss the ring.
yeah.
No.
Yeah. the mafia would be easier on you.
Yeah, you just pay them and do the paperwork
Yeah,
and do your thing.
Right.
Do you think, what about the river bend? Is it coming up?
Actually,
It's coming back, but they
I'm
say-
actually River Bend.
They say it's not gonna be the Friends of the Festival anymore. It's gonna be a different organization.
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I mean, it's been mid for a couple years anyway. There's been some decent acts here and there. I wish they would mess with local artists a little bit more. Have them open up for some.
That would be good.
That would be awesome.
Last year they had Poison there?
Mm-hmm. Year before last. They didn't do it.
Yeah, year before.
COVID.
Let me tell you a funny story. This is a true story. So I get to go to these people's house, condo, Chestnut Avenue.
Okay.
And I go over there. And we had never been there before. And so my wife was with me. And so we go to the balcony overlooking where Poison is. The stage is literally right there.
Right.
And I said, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Well, so I go through the house, through the halls, go to the bathroom. They had one of those sliding doors. Well, I couldn't get it unlocked. So, we're a little bit embarrassed. So I'm calling her and saying, hey, I'm stuck in this bathroom. And she didn't know where I was at because she didn't know the place either. So she said, well, where are you? And I said, well, you go down the hall. So I finally got her down to where I was at. And so we're a little bit embarrassed, because we're I think I was in the master bathroom at these people's house that we didn't know all that well.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody there except the owners of the house.
Okay.
So she's trying to get me out of the bathroom. Of course, I can't tell her nothing because we're talking on the phone. Right. So finally, one of the relatives came by and saw us and said, what are y'all doing? She said, well, I'm trying to get my husband out of the bathroom. So a few minutes later, the owner comes around. He's trying to get me out of the bathroom. They have to call the superintendent of the building. He comes out. They're filming, trying to get me out of this pocket door that has... Now, I'm in the construction, but if I was on the other side, I could have probably done it. But I was on the inside without any tools. So they finally get me out. We're all embarrassed. And I walked back out to the balcony, and he said, thank you for coming. I didn't even get to see the show.
None of it.
None of it.
Damn.
None of it.
Stuck in the bathroom.
Stuck in the bathroom. That's a true story.
Yeah.
So, what's next for Chef Reginald Dwight?
What's next for me? What's next for my brand?
Is cycling a byproduct? I mean, if you don't become a great cyclist, you're not going to make any money at that anyway, right?
You can, actually.
But probably not, right?
No, I'm not going to say probably. I'm going for the gusto. I'm going for the goal.
Oh.
But, being a chef is more, would be more lucrative. If you
Do you go out and do you have a staff with you or just you?
No, not just me. I got a staff with me. I got people that work for me as well.
10 people or 5?
Less than that.
It depends on the job. If we need to get some extra people for a bigger job,
you can.
Yeah, we can. We got people in the industry that we trust and have skills.
In other words, he's the brains.
Right. It's people that are in many different areas that chefs just like myself that I get to fulfill jobs that are called for certain things, and that way that they're adequately done, no matter where they are. What's next for me and my brand is more podcasts, of course, cooking shows, those two, development on one end of the podcast, cooking show, aside from that, development, of course. Also, my book that I'll be working on, which is very, very, I'm glad you said that what you did was next, because a book that I have planned to write also will be accompanied by a book series, and it will be super, super great. You know, it's gonna be wonderful. It's something that I've been working on for the past 2-3 years.
If I may, the first book is going to be introspective of the journey of Chef Reginald. It's going to, like what we were talking about today, the inspirations, the influences, and it'll be a deeper detailed into like the journey of, some of the stuff that was happening until this point. And what's really going to be cool for Chef Reg, I didn't know if he was going to get to this. So my bad if I cut you off, but the vlog is going to be really cool. More content and more video of the cool stuff that he makes and specializes in.
Right, and of course, the title of the book, I can give to you right now. It'd be awesome. That way you know it. And like I said, it'll be coming by and connected with that book itself.
Well, give the title. Give the title.
Give me the title.
The name of the title of the book will be "Don't Give a Damn, Just Cook This." And people will look like, man.
Now explain that title.
The reason why that title is, in life, sometimes you just got to go beyond the limits. Sometimes you just got to just do what you do. Sometimes it's got to be a no holds bar. Sometimes when you have limits and limitations on your life and things, you just got to go above and beyond that. And the name of that book being "Don't Give a Damn, Just Cook This" means that I'm going beyond what everyone else has set out for me to do, and the limitations and stuff that they put on you and all this and that. And that for you to rise above all that. And just when you cook this means you put all yourself into that and just do it. And then you rise above the status quo, you rise above the middle level, you go to the top.
I'm sensing that your book is not, the message is not about cooking. Is it paralleling something else?
Yes, it is actually. It's paralleling the passion of being high, going above status quo, being successful, no holds bar, no limitations.
Persevering.
All of that, perseverance, everything.
Are you paralleling?
Blood, sweat, and tears. All the blood, sweat, and tears I've put into being a chef through the years. I'm putting that into the book. And that book in itself lets people know through life struggles, trials and errors and everything, where I am, where I want to go, where I want them to be, and the encouragement I give them in the book. So with that book itself will be connected with resource manuals as well, like, knowing how to cook certain foods, knowing how to cook pastas and seafoods and things like that. Kind of so to speak, like when you go into Barnes and Noble, you go to the section of books and that section of books in the Barnes and Noble is called Dummies or Idiots.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, those books, if you look at those, they have certain sections they have certain subjects in those books that pertain to people not actually really knowing anything about certain things. And it's kind of like an instructional manual. It's kind of like a to-do. Gives you instruction on how this and how that. Well, those resource manuals will be connected to that book in itself. It's helping folks knowing how to cook dishes, cook seafood, cook meats, cook pastas, and know how to bake, and not have no limitations on themselves. Just do it. Just be successful at cooking. Be successful at knowing how to make dishes and meats
or whatever it is you do.
Whatever it is I do.
Whatever it is you do.
Right. Because see, in life, when you go about doing something, sometimes people have tendencies to not put them full selves into it. And whether it be chefing, whether it be cooking, whether it be you being a banker, a lawyer, a doctor, or whatever it is. Just put your whole self into it. Have enthusiasm about what you're doing. There's a lot of people right now that do not have what they should have because of sometimes, not just about the lack of opportunity, but even when they get the opportunity, it's got to also be about here too as well. You got to know that even beyond, the no's and you can't do this and you can't do that, or hey, we don't have the opportunity right now. We're not hiring right now, this or that. You're going to make it by how you think and how you perceive where you want to be and how you look at the situation, and knowing that your success is not about someone else, it's about yourself. A lot of people's success sometimes is deterred because of how they think and how they derail themselves. You can derail yourself to the left or the right, and not be successful. If I derail myself to the left or the right and go down the wrong track, I won't finish. I won't complete. I won't be a successful chef. I won't be a successful cyclist. I won't get one of these. That's a finishing. So, again, going back to cooking, you can be successful chef. You can be a successful cyclist. You can be a successful whatever you want to be, depending on how you think. Don't derail yourself to the left or the right at all. Because if you do derail yourself to the left or the right, if you just stay in one position and not go forward, but in all actuality, if you actually don't go forward, you're going somewhere.
You're going to burn.
And you're going nowhere. I mean,
you're going to burn the chicken.
Right. Yeah, you're going to burn the chicken. Exactly. If you actually, if you
like feathering the brakes.
Right. If you got chicken cooking in the cast iron skillet and you don't turn it over, then it's going to burn on one side.
That's right.
What that means is that if you do not take the opportunity to take the next step forward and do something else that's necessary for that product to be successful, means there has to be a balance there in cooking. That means you can't just cook it all hard all on one side and expect it to be good, because it won't, because the other side be raw, one side be dark. Well, same thing in life. If you expect to be successful, you can't just think that if you don't do what it takes to be successful and go forward, then you're going to be successful. One is you can't allow yourself to be derailed to the left or the right. You can't just stay where you are. You got to go forward. You got to be successful. You got to believe that, hey, you can do it when people tell you no, you cannot do it. You got to have some enthusiasm, and be who you're going to be.
I think that's what your grandmother was teaching you.
Yeah. I mean, I've been through a lot as a person for many years.
You see the connection.
Yeah. I mean,
Most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, through the many years, I was telling you earlier about the pesticide springs. I did that for a landscape company, and bad to say, I got, my jaw right here got infected by spraying pesticide, so I lost half my teeth palate because it became cancerous. And I had a great doctor, and I thank God for this doctor. Me and him are friends to this day, and I know you know this guy, Dr. Larry Sargent, craniofacial doctor. When I first met him, saw him, hey, I thought I wanted another doctor, somebody that I knew, Dr. Fox or someone, another doctor here. They were in the same organization in the medical field. I saw this doctor coming out the back. I was like, man, hey, man, I don't want that guy. Hey, come on. But let me tell you, what I did not know was God was blessing me that was the best person for you. That was the best in the world. One of the best doctors in the world. So he did what he had to do to perform the surgery to cause my bad situation to turn about, to not stay cancerous. I got better. I didn't like the fact that I lost half my teeth out there. It bothered me for many, many years because of what happened. But I had to persevere through that. It caused me to think differently and by myself and how it's caused me to, not be so outspoken, caused me to not be so full of joy, caused me to not be so full of energy and livelihood, when I was around people. But I learned through the hard times of that, and I got past that. And then I began to gain life within myself, encouragement from others, people that don't care, hey, how you look or something going on with you, something like, hey, you really don't know this person. I almost died. I almost died years ago, back in like 98, 99. I almost died from having this issue and situation, tumor in my jaw. But I got past that. And so I began to build up strength and energy. God bless me. I got enthusiasm. I got encouragement from others. And I began to cook. I never ever stopped cooking. Even though I went through a lot, what I did, I went through a lot of issues and situations, but I never stopped ever cooking. I never ever stopped cooking and doing what I did. So I began to continue to cook. I began to, do more events, do more shows, from the means of catering for them and cooking for these guys. I began to feel more encouraged inside. I began to build, get more built up. And so my enthusiasm became more. So, I found that people that I was around was my real friends. People that really love me and care for me, didn't care about none of that extra stuff. And that's what life showed me, even through the ups and downs, that there are people that were there for me that really care for me. C-Grimey, this man right here, great entertainer, person, really cared. A lot of other people that I know really care and were there for me. And I began to get past all that. And I began to encourage others. And even in myself now, a lot of times when I speak, I even forget about my situation, you know what I'm saying? I might have my teeth out and gone. But guess what? I thank God for being able to talk. I thank God for being able to reach others and touch others with the ability to be able to cook and chef and touch lives, because my chefing and my cooking, I feel, is touching lives and touching people. I feel that there's importance with that, and I do it. I do it because it's necessary, and I try to touch lives with my food, and touch others, and I feel that it has done. Regardless of what
I believe you're doing what your grandmother was doing.
Right. And
she just didn't have a camera.
Right.
Exactly.
I try to get goals and plaques in everything I do. Whether it might be a plaque for,
Well, you're staying positive. You're moving forward. I mean, we're not going to do something that gets us extra points on the pinball machine and gives us 12 more years of extended play anyway.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So do what you love today.
Right.
Because YOLO.
You never know when your last day may be.
One
Do
day
you think
here,
God
the
has
next
a
you
plan
gone.
for all this?
Yes, I do. I definitely do.
Do you believe that?
Most definitely. It's us. It was written before us, and we just playing our part in the destiny.
Doing the best we can with what we can.
Yeah. And this might be weird, but when I get introspective, I just look at, us. We just the big ass ant farm, and we out here milling about, building and creating and taking care of our species like the ant farm does. We're just doing it on a bigger scale.
And it really doesn't matter.
It matters a little bit, because what you do will determine if you leave a positive or a negative effect on the world. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
with your carbon footprint, with your legacy, on how you treated people, with the resources that you brought to the earth, all of that, it matters. To me, I don't know. To me,
Things happen at the right time. Or some things may happen at the wrong time.
You're not a chef. To me, you're an inspiration.
Thank you. I try to be.
Thanks for having us, man. Thanks so much.